Underway. It is the first of two that we have for the Drayton Manor Park MG Metro Cup. 10 minutes, that's all, for what promises to be a huge amount of action. Last year, these cars were at the equivalent meeting and were very good value indeed. And the fan club is in good form, supporting Jonathan Woodcock, the man from Preston. He runs in Class B for the mildly modified cars that run on road tyres. The man on pole position, however, for this race is Mike Williams, unbeaten this year. And with him at the front of the grid is Dick Trevitt, who runs in one of the original Metro Turbos, the ex-Peter Baldwin car from the Metro Turbo Challenge days. The second row of the grid, Tom Granger, who is the man that's quickest in Class B, and he also is unbeaten this year. 3 class wins have gone his way. Tom Sanderson lines up alongside him, and just through shot there went number 7, Tony Howe, in a car that he raced in period in the early 1990s in the Metro Cup, and it has had an engine change after dramas in qualifying. Charlie Butler-Henderson spoke to him earlier on, didn't you, Charlie, and discovered that it was all a bit oily and a bit smelly, and he was facing a pretty busy lunchtime.
Yeah, I just washed my hands and he shook hands with me with an oily hand. He had oil all over his face. He basically had an oil leak, and the next time I saw him, said, "Are you still going to be okay to race today?" And he said, "Yeah." And he had a spare engine was being put in, and he was underneath it the next time I saw him. So a fair play to all of the people that helped him out and his team, and all loved ones that were getting involved, making tea and just basically jivvying the crew along, really.
You're riding on board with Jack Ashton, who is on the 4th row of the grid. This only his 4th ever race. He's done a very good job to qualify on the outside of the 4th row. He is going to be one to watch. And Tony Howe, just to finish off about Tony, starting a long way back, first having raced this Metro Turbo back in 1990, hugely experienced. We'll see how he comes now up through the field. It's a rolling start for the Drayton Manor MG Metro Cup, so they're about to make their way through the Devil's Elbow. The safety car will peel into the pit lane, and then we are ready to go racing then, with Mike Williams starting on pole position, Dick Trevitt alongside him, and slowly they make their way up towards the line. Last year we saw loads of overtaking from these cars. It should be much the same again. You'll have spotted already 1 or 2 MG ZRs, for which there's a separate class to enhance the future of the championship as we go racing. And a good start is made by Dick Trevitt then in the orange Metro Turbo from the outside of the front row, but on the inside it's going to be the pole man Mike Williams who grabs the lead, but up the inside also goes Tom Granger. That's a really brave effort to try to bag second place as they turn through Gerrards for the first time, and Jonathan Woodcock is responding to the fan club's urges by going 4th from the 3rd row of the grid as Jack Ashton is on the outside line. Norris Cross on the back, he runs out of road and it's all a bit of a struggle, but he's got it back under control, grabs another gear and he's still fighting.
Yeah, really good stuff there on board with our on-board car there, but we've got Granger there, had a really aggressive start. Car number 1, who's actually gone up into 2nd place, was pushing Williams across the line as soon as those lights went out, so you knew that guy was on a mission. So the black car in 2nd place at the moment, absolute mission there. Great move on the way into the hairpin. Really good wheel-to-wheel action stuff here in the Saloon Metro race already, and it's only first lap.
You've also got in the mix the largely white car, number 19 there, of Tom Sanderson going ahead of Dick Trevitt, who shares this car, so he races alternate seasons. But at the end of lap 1, Mike Williams, underlining why he's unbeaten this year, has managed to pull out a gap of 1.3 seconds already over the Class B leader, Tom Granger. And then in 3rd place it's Tom Sanderson, in 4th is Dick Trevitt, and then for 5th place Neil Gardner, who's normally a front runner, and Tony Howe there, number 7, is starting to work his way up the order. He's now 11th and he started 16th. Dick Trevitt onto the step straight, attacking and defending at the same time, but up front Mike Williams it is who is getting away. Tom Granger thinking about points for winning his class. The Sidcup student goes through in 2nd spot overall. Little pockets of cars now getting together, battles right the way through the field. Here's another one diving down towards the S's, and the one that loses out most of all there in 49 is Richard Garrett, the man from Milton Keynes. He gets forced out wide and loses a place in the process.
Yeah, always little battles going down the field in this sort of class of championship racing, really, and these cars, they do get bunched up massively at the hairpin there that you can see at Shaw's hairpin here at Mallory. These cars are front-wheel drive. They work extremely hard to get some heat into the rear tyres, and then as they turn in for the corners, the rear tyres then have to come into play because they're obviously keeping the car moving forwards and keeping the traction all the way through the corner. So really important that the drivers on the first couple of laps get heat into their rear tyres, otherwise they lose the back end and go on the grass, which we've already seen that already.
There's Tony Howe with the engine change complete. The car is hopefully 100% now, up into 12th spot and continuing to make progress. He is ahead of another of the original Metro Turbos, Richard Garrett, the carpenter, behind him. Tony Howe, the man from Hucknall near Nottinghamshire, goes down towards the S's, and there is the race leader out on his own. Mike Williams building this gap, but the fight is on for second place now. As up the inside comes Tom Sanderson. He made that look pretty easy, but he's in a different class. His is in the modified class that runs on a cut slick tyre, whereas Tom Granger is in the mildly modified, almost production class with the road tyres, and so different spec of car. And Dick Trevitt in the orange Metro Turbo has got a problem because he's dropping further and further down the order, and look, limps out of the Shaw's hairpin. Something I fear has gone pop on that car, and it looks like he's heading for the pit lane. Yeah, there was no smoke coming in of it, no fluids coming out of it, so maybe an electrical fault. Oh, and a proper sideways through Gerrards. I've got a good friend of mine, Timmy Marshall, who's well into his drifting. He'd have rather been out there doing that because he loves going sideways, especially around here at his local circuit. Unbelievable bit of car control there, so great stuff here from these guys that just absolutely love their racing. Tom Sanderson, you're looking at in second place, number 19. He has now done the best lap of the race, and he's got a huge slide going through the S's. That's the save of the day so far, isn't it? He came out the other side. He has barely lifted out of all of that. Now Tom Granger fights back. He's leading his class. Massive lock-up. Is there going to be contact? Yes, there is, and that almost turns Sanderson around. Largely, the racing is good and clean and contact-free in the Metro Cup, but that was all a bit inevitable. That was a massive lock-up from Tom Granger. He still leads his class. Jonathan Woodcock is the man that's chasing after him, but there's a car in between the pair of them. So over the timing line, Mike Williams leads by 3 seconds now. Tom Sanderson, there he is in second place. And Tom Granger, his aggressor, is in third place. Fourth going through is from the third row, Neil Gardner. Then it's Woodcock. And to round out the top 6, the apprentice boat builder, Oliver Hood. Cars turning their way through Gerrards. This in replay is what happened coming through the S's. So first of all, you got Tom Sanderson with this big slide that took him almost from one side of the circuit to the other. The curve helps to straighten him up a little bit, but it's not over yet, is it? Because coming up towards the hairpin, then we had Tom Granger locking up. Well, he's dropped back a length or two, and in fact now Granger in the clutches pretty much of the yellow and blue car in the hands of Neil Gardner through the hairpin. Well, I think the only reason why Granger gave Sanderson a little tap was because on the 2 previous corners he'd gone sideways. He thought, well, if you like going sideways so much, if I give you a little tap, then you can carry on going sideways at the hairpin and do a whole lap of Mallory completely sideways. So I think it was just a bit of genuine racing there, nothing too harmful. Neil Gardner going through, having had drive shaft dramas in qualifying, so his car going stronger now. Up front, Mike Williams leading by over 3 seconds. Tony Howe being urged on as he comes across the timing line. He's in the top 10 though now, is Tony. There he is, number 7. He's barely missed a season since 1990 of racing a Metro Turbo, barely missed a race indeed, never mind a season. And he turns his way now through Gerrards. The last few cars go through as well. And Jack Ashton, having started on the 4th row of the grid, is still going strongly in 7th spot as the race leader, Mike Williams, having got this 100% record this year, turns his way through the hairpin, sprints his way now down towards the left-hander of the Devil's Elbow. And as he accelerates up towards the timing line once again, he's under no pressure. He's been able to make the break early on, hasn't he? And this, as we saw a bit from Mike Gardner, is another faultless drive. He's got Tom Sanderson chasing after him, but Charlie Butler-Henderson, they're going to have to work very hard indeed now to do anything at all about the leader, Mike Williams. Yeah, and when they're squabbling between themselves, if one of these guys makes a mistake, they're going to catch each other up really, really quickly. And Mallory does actually, drive proper good racing, because you've got some flowing, this really fast corner at Gerrards, and you've got the very, very tight hairpin. And lots of mistakes can be made either on the brakes at the hairpin or going sideways, as we've seen at Gerrards, which is that long sweeping right-hander around the lake here at Mallory. So yeah, he's got a bit of an easy one at the moment, but he's just got to keep his head down, keep using all of the road, getting traction down, not missing a gear, and then he'll go for a nice, cool, easy win. But these guys, if they keep making little mistakes like that, picking up dirt on their tyres, possibly getting a puncture, or slowing themselves down, it's going to give us great racing for the last few minutes left of this race. Now that little battle you're looking at coming out of the hairpin is for second in Class B behind Tom Granger. It is Woodcock ahead of Hood at the moment. In other words, Jonathan Woodcock versus Oliver Hood. And then chasing on behind them is this man, Jack Ashton, running in 7th place as he comes over the timing line. Down towards Gerrards he goes. Metros may look a little slow from the outside, but you can see how hard they have to work inside the car. Let's ride with him now. Coming out of Gerrards, foot to the floor. This is a lap of Mallory Park. So you can see there, Gerrard's very, very long corner, getting sideways, now into 5th gear,
So flat to the floor, absolutely flat to the floor. What he'll probably do is just lift off very, very slightly, down a gear, then turn, which will get the back end of the car to slightly come round, and you're getting a bit of understeer there. We can see him really putting a lot of lock on there, kissing the curb on the inside through the Dunlop S's, and then braking for Shaw's hairpin. So down into third, now in second, maybe first, no, okay, maybe on a qualifying lap first gear, but second gear for this young man that we're particularly driving with. Up into third, you can see his left leg moving as he's literally changing gear as quickly as he possibly can to not lose any engine revs or momentum whatsoever. He's bumping around. If you look at his helmet inside the car, he's really bobbling around, and you can see he's got a red neck brace on as well, so if he was in an accident as well, that would then keep his head and neck and everything and all together and neat and tidy in the car. So that's that red sort of bit of sponge that we can see around the outside in his helmet there. So great onboard footage there, really good stuff, and you can see him working very, very hard for the next 2 minutes left of this race. He's going to be doing another few more laps, I think.
The race leader is being caught. You can see now the gap is coming down. Mike Williams being caught, and he may still be driving within himself by Tom Sanderson, but he's also coming up on the battle for the MGZR class that is between Jonathan Agar and Alex Flower. Alex has been the winning driver this year in the class, but Jonathan Agar, the Leeds-based company director, is going after him, class champion last year. More battles lower down the order. 77 is Philip Goff there, going around the outside, and all this is for 10th place. Richard Garrard goes back ahead, and Tony Howe is there with them as well at the back of this little trio. So the Metro Turbos getting involved with Philip Goff's 114 GTI. Tony Howe up the inside coming out of the hairpin. Is that going to pay off for him? Let's see. Doesn't quite work for him. Richard Garrard then through the devil's elbow. There is Tony Howe. Traditional good old open face helmet as well that Tony wears. He comes up over the timing line. They're about to go past the pits, and the other Metro Turbo that's been stranded there for many a lap now, Dick Trevor's car. Tony Howe to the inside line. Is that going to pay off for him? No, it doesn't work. So Philip Goff is able to maintain the place going through Gerrard's. We're into the last 40 seconds of the race now, and this lower down the order is still a great little battle to determine who is going to be the last driver in the top 10.
Remember, Tony's just done an engine change as well, so he probably won't have his best engine in at the moment, so it'll be a spare engine due to the oil leak that he's had. So even the fact that the car is still running and still competing and still in good place, it's fair play to him and his team for getting it done.
Philip Goff around the outside of Richard Garrard, side by side up towards the hairpin they come then. Last lap board has just been shown to the leaders if they've gone across the line, and still side by side at the hairpin. On the inside is Garrard, on the outside is Goff, and he can't make it stick, so he slots back in, and that's Jonathan Woodcock with a problem. Loads of smoke billowing out of the side of the car. He was 5th and 2nd in class, and on the last lap of the race it's all become a bit expensive, and has that put liquid on the road? Possibly. Mike Williams is on target for yet another win. He's absolutely unstoppable this year. He comes now through the hairpin, accelerates his way up towards the line, and he's on his own. There in the background is Tom Sanderson. Mike Williams started on pole, Tom Sanderson from 4th on the grid, and they're going to be the 1-2. Smoke is settling in the distance, the checkered flag is ready, and Mike Williams wins yet again. He maintains this 100% record this year. Tom Sanderson comes through, weaving his way over the line for 2nd place. Race director may have a thought or two about that. And then for 3rd, it's going to be Tom Granger to win his class as well. In 4th place, Neil Gardner comes over the line, and then working his way through the MGZRs is going to be in 5th place, Oliver Hood. Number 30, what used to be his sister's old road car. And lower down the order, they are going to get into the top 10, at least 1 or 2 of them are, with the demise of Jonathan Woodcock, because coming now up towards the line is the battle between Garrard and Goff and Howe, and in fact Richard Garrard has been able to make good his escape over the last couple of corners of the lap. Through he goes, and Richard Garrard takes 9th, Philip Goff is 10th, and Tony Howe ends up in 11th place with the engine change. Well, there is Mike Williams, and he's being joined on the staying down lap by Tom Sanderson. The pair of them having run away from the opposition. They are 1-2 overall and 1-2 in class for the modified cars. Well, let's confirm the way they came over the timing lines when the race. Mike Williams then is the race winner. Tom Sanderson in 2nd place, and the gap 3 seconds between them. Tom Granger is 3rd ahead of Neil Gardner. Oliver Hood ends up 5th, and Jack Ashton coming home in 6th place in only his 4th ever race.